Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great Thirsty Thursday. And got to tell you, I've got my setup here and I'm still getting all the kinks and stuff out of it. But I tell you, I love it to be able to basically do what I do at home on the road is going to be great, especially as we get ready to go to training camp. In just a few weeks, we'll be there. We'll be getting to LA August 1st and be there for the week of padded practices. So we'll definitely be there covering the Cowboys. We'll be live streaming with some of your uh, favorite YouTubers from Law Nation and things. And we're trying to see if we can get DMV out there with us as well, which would be great. So, the big debate that's out there, Micah Parsons, who you can definitely say is the new leader on the defense, without a doubt, of the Dallas Cowboys. He is definitely the mouthpiece. Um, Interesting thing yesterday, we ended up doing a live stream with the NFC East, Cop Pizzle, uh, Philly 500, and Rio, of course. And the interesting thing about that was Rio asked the question of one player that you would take from, the other team. Everybody to a man said Micah Parsons. That shows you the respect that he has earned. Now, we don't know if this is going to be a Chase Young situation where Chase Young came out, had 8 sacks, and through 9 games only had 1.5, and had a hard time beating average offensive tackles, never mind double teams. He just came through like gives no F's, so to speak. He's still recovering from the ACL injury. He'll probably start the season off on the pup list. We'll see where he goes. And let's pray that we don't have a situation like that. But a couple of days ago, Micah Parsons tweeted out that him and Trevon Diggs will be the new Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. And so that debate has gone through. People have said, you're crazy. There's no chance in things that, they're going to be that good and stuff. Well, if you go through the numbers, and I want to actually join the debate here. If you go through the numbers, although there is a difference here, when you look at Aaron Donald, who had 12.5 sacks, Aaron Donald is not actually an edge rusher. But then again, neither is Micah Parsons. For Aaron Donald to have 12.5 sacks as a defensive tackle is insane. Defensive ends have a hard time getting 12.5 sacks, much less from the defensive line. And Aaron Donald will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Jalen Ramsey is more of a shutdown corner with the 4 interceptions. But if you put the numbers together, you almost have, you almost look at this and say 3 of the 4 categories, Micah Parsons and Diggs actually lead. If Micah Parsons was a full-time edge rusher, he'd probably have more tackles for losses than Aaron Donald. But he also played linebacker. He played great as a linebacker. He played great as defensive end. In fact, his numbers at either of those positions were great. But he did both. But NFL Network Total Access ended up doing a debate, which I thought was actually a great debate. And let's listen in on that for a little bit here. I think it's worthy of analyzing.
12.5 sacks for the defending champs, 13 for these other 2 guys. But hey, all 4 of these guys, first team All-Pro last season. So you can see the argument he's making here. I dig it. I like it. And to be fair, they are definitely a tandem to be reckoned with. The Dallas defense led the league in takeaways last year. Trevon with a league-leading 11 interceptions on his own. Micah, of course, as we know, unanimous Defensive Rookie of the Year. Do you guys think that they can grow to be the most feared defense in the league, or perhaps their progression here, Pioli?
I respect Micah's ability and his confidence. I really do. I think he's a tremendous player. But sustaining dominance in this league is extremely difficult. Again, football is an extremely violent game, and the body doesn't always do what the mind intends. So there's a lot of things that are out of his control. In order for him to get to that level, he's going to have to stay healthy. Mike is going to have to stack a number of seasons on top of one another, and that's just not very easy in this league. And as we looked at those stats, I really want to say this, MJ. We're not comparing apples to apples when we're talking about these two defensive linemen. Aaron Donald is an inside defensive lineman. What he's done as a defensive tackle in this league, as an inside player, is beyond extraordinary. The mismatches that he creates and the position that he does it from, it's so much more difficult to get sacks, to get penetration, to make the plays, the tackles for loss from the position that he's at, and it is Micah Parson. So again, I really respect where he's at. But he's, I think he's got to tap the brakes just a little bit.
Well, Scott, I have to say, I love the mindset. I love the comments. I love the confidence. Micah Parsons is so versatile. I mean, he blew us all away, if you can recall back to last season. You can use him as a rusher. You can use him as an end. You can drop him into coverage. This defense was special. I think the greatest thing about this defense and why they have a chance, and he has a chance, and Diggs has a chance to repeat what they did last year, is because Dan Quinn returns as the defensive coordinator. He was, after all, the assistant coach of the year in the National Football League, and he didn't leave for a head coaching role. Why? Because if you have this talent, you don't leave. And you have an opportunity with Dak Prescott, who, by the way, is the leanest he has ever been, as he told us this offseason. And I think when you get a healthy DeMarcus Lawrence, Mike, for an entire season, he missed 10 games last year with that injury. Randy Gregory's gone, but I think they can be opportunistic and build really on those 34 takeaways that MJ alluded to they led the league with last year.
And I'll take parts of what you both said. I mean, I do love the confidence. Hey, why not? I mean, shoot for greatness in this league, which we are seeing from Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. And I like what Scott said about the consistency. And I want to see it from Trevon Diggs, because he had some spectacular plays that at some point we were saying to ourselves, why are you even throwing in his direction? Because the interception streak that he was on in the middle of the season. But there were times where he lost his guy, or maybe he made some mental mistakes. Jalen Ramsey, you don't see a whole lot of that from him. You see a consistency throughout the entire game, the way that he's able to shut guys down. So don't necessarily focus on being those guys. Be the best version of who you can be. And I just think that these guys can get so much better. I think they were playing early on in their career on instinct. Micah Parsons, maybe not even where we thought he would line up in the NFL. Let's just put him where he could be successful and play quickly early on. Well, let's see him start to refine himself more as a complete player. And let's continue to see more of that from Trevon Diggs. I think they're going to get even better. Are they going to get that good? I don't know, but they're going to get better.
It's a tall order for sure, but to your point, I do love that he is trying to set the bar for himself and to push himself for more competitiveness. Hey, Pioli, if we see Micah Parsons in a sustaining dominance shirt at training camp, tell him we want a cut of whatever the merch is from that, because that sounds like a motto for the year ahead. All right.
So here's my reasons why the Cowboys will be better on the defense and why Micah Parsons and Diggs could be better. And I'm not saying that Diggs can get 11 interceptions again. I don't think that that's going to be, back-to-back. I remember Richard Sherman had back-to-back 8 interception seasons, but that even is rare. But as a total player, I think Diggs will get better, because people don't seem to remember that Diggs is only starting his 3rd year. He is still waking up, still wet behind the ears to the NFL. And working with Dan Quinn for another year will definitely begin to hone his ability. But the thing that's going to make the difference for this team, as well as for Micah Parsons and Diggs, is not just their ability, but what happens around them. That's the key, because you are a product of the team. We keep looking at sports, looking at the NFL like it's just one player is the only person on the field. But see, if Osa can take a step this year and become better and be more aggressive, getting up the field, using his hands and his quickness and things, learning more of the subtleties. If having Neville Gallimore actually healthy and playing where he left off his rookie year, where he trucked guys like Mike Pouncey and can be a dominant interior defensive lineman, then it makes it that much easier for a Micah Parsons. And if these guys, along with, say, a Sam Williams and a Dorrance Armstrong, can put pressure on like Randy Gregory or even more, then all of a sudden quarterbacks are having to get rid of the ball quicker. Quarterbacks are being their passes are being contested. They've got bodies flying around them, especially up the middle. It will make it more difficult for the quarterback to get the ball out and hence have more takeaways in general. So, yeah, you can look at those numbers and say they're right there with Aaron Donald and Ramsey, but I think that they can take and push it a little further than what the two of those did. You got to look at Aaron Donald. He's still dominant, but he is definitely on the tail end side of his career. Ramsey can get better, but I look at the two that we have right now that have only played 1 year and 2 years and look and say they still have a lot to learn and can definitely become even better. So, with that being said, I'm going to get on out of here because I've got work to do. And as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I will hopefully see you soon.